Do you ever dream of doing a road trip across Alaska? How about in the winter? Well, slip on your winter hat because we are about to do an 800-mile loop across the last frontier, stopping for experiences that you can only have here in Alaska in the wintertime. And we may be doing this epic road trip in a Prius. We're headed to Fairbanks now, super excited for what lies ahead, and we are taking you with us. Jump on in and let us take you on a heck of an adventure, road tripping through Alaska in the winter. We're starting in Willow, Alaska, 1.5 hours north of Anchorage. We're on the George Parks Highway, which stretches 358 miles from Palmer to Fairbanks. This highway slices through some of Alaska's most rugged terrain. As we drive north, the Alaska Range curves like a huge arc in the distance, reaching around from the west and the north. The Talkeetna Mountains rise majestically to the east. It's mid-March and Alaska was pummeled with snow this winter, but a little sun does wonders and the roads are clear. The Alaska Range rises dead ahead. We are even graced with a full-on, crystal-clear view of the crown jewel of the Alaska Range, the one and only Denali. Denali is one of the most impressive features on the planet. Mountain elevations are measured from sea level to summit, but if you measure from base to summit, Denali is actually a mile higher than Everest. The mountain's northern face, called the Wickersham Wall, is one of the world's tallest continuous mountain faces, rising 14,000 feet from Peters Glacier to the North Peak. Denali is often called the world's coldest mountain, host to some of the coldest and most violent weather on the planet. Here, temperatures can drop to 90 below, along with winds of up to 150 miles per hour. Glaciers snake out in every direction from the base, some up to 45 miles long and 3,700 feet deep. This mountain is so large and rises so suddenly from the surrounding landscape that it actually creates its own weather system. Just like water flowing around a boulder in a river, it drastically affects the direction and turbulence of air whipping in from the Gulf of Alaska. And there she is, towering high, welcoming us to her neighborhood, and just affirming that it was an awesome idea to do this road trip in the winter. This is the South Denali viewpoint at mile 135 of the Parks Highway, currently buried between at least 6 feet of snow.
Look at that. It's crazy amount of snow accumulation.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Dang. I can't wait to be here in the summer and see the difference.
It will be fun to come back here in the summer when all the signs are actually at eye level, but when we do, there will be tons of people here. And that's the magic of being here now. It's quiet, and we have this view all to ourselves. Then we spend the night here at the viewpoint. Yep, car camping in our Prius.
You can take me high.
It actually wasn't that bad. Our sleeping bags kept us cozy, and to be honest, we are used to tight spaces. I mean, we do live in a 200 square foot tiny house on wheels, so what's a slight downgrade to a Prius? Our next stop is just a few miles up the road to mile 162. This is the Denali viewpoint north, offering yet another angle to take in the Alaska Range. Down below, the Chulitna River is iced over for the winter. 45 miles south of here, it will meet up with the Talkeetna River and the Susitna River. The Alaska Range stretches out before us, an absolutely stunning panorama. Did you know that the Alaska Range is the 10th tallest mountain range in the world? And it is the tallest mountain range in the world outside of Asia and South America. Now that we have seen the impressive Alaska Range in the distance from 2 unique viewpoints, it is now time to go into the range itself. There are only 3 places where roads cut through the Alaska Range. The first is the Toke Cutoff section of the Glen Highway, which cuts through here at Mentasta Pass. The second is here, where the Richardson Highway slices its way through the range. We're actually going here later in the road trip on a mission to find one of the coolest things we have ever seen in our lives. The third place a road cuts through the Alaska Range is here, where the Parks Highway enters and makes its way through Broad Pass. That's where we are now. We are now slicing our way through the Alaska Range, but we are not going to cut all the way through the range today. Our destination is Denali National Park, which of course is located in the heart of the Alaska Range. You might be thinking, but is Denali National Park open during the winter? Yes. Yes, it is. And to be honest, it is one of the most magical times to go. If you have been to Denali National Park, you know it is an absolute zoo in the summer, to the point that most of the road into the park is off limits to cars, and you can only travel further on the park's transit bus system. But in the winter, we have all of this to ourselves. And if you're wondering, well, sure, but what can you really do out there in the wintertime?
You okay? That's called post-holing it. Wah! There I go.
This is probably one of the coolest picnics we have ever had. Watching the sunset over the Alaska Range in the winter, it is a spectacular sight.
Yes, please.
Made even more immersive by the quiet, cold stillness of this snow-covered world.
Thank you. Wow. Dinner and a view. Picnic sandwich a la Jose.
And by the way, the things you can do in this park in wintertime are boundless. Snowshoeing, winter hiking, cross-country skiing, snowboarding, winter camping, all in a world frozen over, silent, and just calling to you. We spend the night car camping once more, this time in Riley Campground, which is free during the winter and completely empty. If you need any final convincing that a winter trip to Denali is absolutely worth it, here you go. The next morning, we are off early on our mission to cut our way through the rest of the Alaska Range and make it all the way to Fairbanks. We pass through the Denali village, which again, in the summer is an absolute zoo, but in the winter, not a single soul is here. If you've been here in the summertime and thought that Denali village was an actual town with some sort of year-round population, you were mistaken. The entire village exists only for the summer tourism season. We make our way through the rest of the range, so impressed by the mountains towering on either side. And then we drop down out of the range and into the northern foothills, en route to Fairbanks. On this drive, we are both really excited and a little nervous. Excited because we are actually headed to the Fairbanks airport to pick up a very special travel adventure partner. And getting a little nervous because the skies are starting to look stormy and snow is forecast. Once we pick up that special someone, we have a drive on a road that is known for being shady in winter conditions. We do not want to be stuck on it in a blizzard. So we are hightailing it to Fairbanks to pick up... Everyone, meet Mirna. Mirna is our dear friend who is joining us on this Alaskan winter adventure, and today she just flew in from New York City. quite a change in scenery. We are on our way to one of the most popular winter destinations in all of Alaska, and it is that popular for a very good reason. It's just, to get there, you have to drive this very remote road. And we're in a Prius. And sure enough, it just started snowing.
We're just parking here.
We make it in one piece, and now we three are in for quite a unique experience. We are staying in a cabin that does not have road access, either in the winter or the summer. So the only way to get your stuff in...
Beer.
Jeez Louise. First things first, I guess. Food. Most important.
We loaded up too much? Now this is a new experience for us. First time we've had to haul our stuff into an Airbnb via sled. But then again, no other Airbnb we've ever stayed at has been this special.
You see an outhouse? That's gonna be comfortable. Oh boy.
I'll send this on its own because otherwise it'll knock me down.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh, there goes all our food.
Oh! Are you okay, love?
So cute.
We made it.
We made it. Yeah. We got a river right next to us. We don't have electricity yet. We gotta crank up the generator for that. We brought tons of food. We're all set, you bet. Now that it's all put together, woohoo! And we got wine. Dun, dun, dun. Salud. And fire is up next.
I grew up in an old Wisconsin farmhouse heated by wood, so this is a pretty nostalgic experience for me. Okay, so why are we all the way out here? What could be so irresistible as to compel us to drive this far out to such a remote location? The Chena Hot Springs is located 56.5 miles northeast of Fairbanks, and my, is it a place. Tucked along the Chena River State Recreation Area, it is literally at the end of the road, and it is home to quite an assortment of intriguing experiences. The first one being, of course, here we go, the hot springs. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Mirna. You ready? Isn't that awesome? Thank you, Mama Earth.
This is the perfect temperature.
Wow. These waters have traveled far into the earth to be heated and then brought back to us. Deep below us, a large mass of granite, called a pluton, sits concealed far below the surface. It is particularly rich in thorium and uranium, both radioactive elements that give off heat when they decay. Cracks and faults within the overlying bedrock form a plumbing system, allowing groundwater to seep deep into the earth, where it is heated by the pluton and then sent back to the surface. At least that is one of geologists' best guesses at this point in time. And that's the beauty of geology. There are still so many earth science puzzles to still piece together. What we do know is that the waters of Chena Hot Springs are particularly rich in boron, lithium, and fluorine, and they spill forth from the earth at a piping 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And they're not alone. Over 30 hot springs stretch across Alaska in a zone known as the Central Alaska Hot Springs Belt. All are heated by similar granitic plutons, all of early tertiary age, so maybe around 55 million years old or so, and all rich in heat-producing thorium, uranium, and potassium. And no, I know you're thinking it, the waters of Chena Hot Springs are not radioactive. They're perfectly safe. The power of geothermal energy is put on display here at Chena Hot Springs, not just in the springs themselves, but in the other ways that that power is utilized. The first being, well, power. This is Alaska's first geothermal energy plant. The project was completed in 2006 and utilizes innovative technology that generates geothermal energy at temperatures below the boiling point of water. This plant covers 100% of the resort's electricity needs. The diesel generators that used to do that job, at the cost of 150,000 gallons of diesel a year, are now on standby for backup power. And there is another place where all this geothermal energy is put to good use. Starting in 2004, a program was started here at Chena to grow fresh vegetables year-round utilizing the power of geothermal energy. These greenhouses produce 9,000 pounds of tomatoes per year and a daily harvest of 42 to 72 heads of lettuce, which heads straight to the resort's restaurant. To have a salad that fresh, way out here in the middle of the winter, it's pretty incredible. In the winter of 2005, temperatures outside dropped to 56 below zero, but inside the resort's first greenhouse, it was a balmy 78 degrees Fahrenheit. That 134-degree difference took the record among all controlled environment facilities in the USA. And finally, in a place that is so fixated on the use of Earth's internal heat, it is most interesting that Chena Hot Springs is home to this particular place, which also just happens to be one of the most interesting and bizarre places we have ever stepped foot into.
Do not open the doors. Tell me if you want to go outside. I'll open the door for you. But you are welcome to take a coat if you want to be more warm than that. There's plenty of coats on both sides, and I'm the person who wants to clean up all of the snow that gets inside, so I'd appreciate it if you would stop your feet.
This is the Aurora Ice Museum. Yes, everything in here is carved from ice, including the bar. This is all the work of Heather and Steve Bryce, both world champion ice sculptors. It took 1,000 tons of ice and snow to create this space, all harvested here at Chena Hot Springs. And it is maintained at 25 degrees Fahrenheit year-round using an absorption chiller that, yes, runs off geothermal power. This is an absolutely surreal place to walk through. And the bar. Again, yes, everything here is truly ice. The banister, the bar, the stools, the back bar, and even the martini glasses. Here at the Aurora Ice Bar, you can order an apple martini in an ice glass.
Enjoy your drinks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be back in just a moment.
As we leave the museum, we catch a glimpse of the attached ice sculpting workshop. Here they make the martini glasses, as well as other projects in the works. What a fascinating medium to work with. It must certainly take a certain type of person willing to work long hours in such a chilly environment, all in the name of art. Chena Hot Springs proves to be a truly fascinating place. We find ourselves often just walking around, enjoying the crisp air and exploring the resort. We even visit the sled dog kennels, where teams of dogs live and work both through the winter and summer months. Usually Chena is an excellent place to catch the northern lights, but unluckily we're here during a lull in solar activity, so the aurora is very, very faint. But we do enjoy exploring, gawking at all the interesting artifacts located around the property, wondering about their history and also how the heck they got them there. And that makes us wonder about the history of the springs themselves. In 1904, a U.S. Geological Survey crew observed steam rising from around the upper Chena River. This led two gold mining brothers, Thomas and Robert Swan, to explore the area and discover the springs in 1905. In 1906, a man named George Wilson began homesteading and developing a health spa at the springs. And by 1911, his operation included 12 cabins, a bathhouse, and a stable. It has grown ever since. When we're not soaking or sipping apple martinis, we are back here at the cabin enjoying a taste of off-grid cabin life and appreciating our time together.
There you go. She's giving them a pep talk. You can do it! Do it!
Do it. Come on.
Don't let me down!
Today we move out of the cabin, haul our stuff back through the woods, bid farewell to Chena Hot Springs, and head back towards Fairbanks. We were just talking about how Myrna hasn't seen any wildlife yet, when moose have an incredible ability to survive the harsh winters of Alaska. Here, winter temps can drop to -60 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet these massive creatures survive off twigs alone, protected from the cold by their thick undercoats. We are headed to Fairbanks, which will be base camp for the next stage of our Alaskan winter adventure. Our home base is a cozy Airbnb in the heart of the city. We move right in. All around us, Fairbanks sits in a peaceful deep freeze. Though by some unbelievable stroke of luck, we are here during a heat wave. Temperatures are currently running between 20 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and the coldest we've had is 10 below. That's crazy warm. Just last week, temps here were pushing 30 below. And that, by the way, is the only reason we are able to do this road trip in a Prius. A few weeks back, when we saw this warm weather ahead, we knew our little Sancho could do it. But otherwise, up here, one needs to have a 4x4 with an engine block heater for sure. And now for the crown jewel of our winter road trip, the main reason we came all the way here at this time of year, the World Ice Art Championships. Beginning in the 1930s, Fairbanks held a carnival every March to celebrate the coming of spring. The event grew to include thrones carved from ice, the coveted seat of Miss Alaska and her court. Over the years, the thrones became more and more elaborate, and the practice of ice sculpting itself became increasingly ingrained in the seasonal ritual of welcoming spring. So in 1990, a committee formed to put on an annual ice sculpting competition, and the rest is history. Now, the World Ice Championship is famous worldwide. It has been host to the work of sculptors from across the USA and from 45 countries around the world, and counting. There are 4 divisions in the competition: the single block classic, the double block classic, the multi-block classic, and the youth classic. The single block classic consists of one sculptor and one 6x4 by 3 foot block of ice. The sculptor has 3 days only to complete their work. In the double block classic, 2 sculptors take on 2 blocks of ice and have 3 days once again to complete their work. The multi-block classic brings together a team of 4 sculptors and up to 9 blocks of ice, which they have only 6 days to sculpt into an absolute showstopper. Tonight, our toes and our fingers and our noses are frozen, but we just can't stop walking around these astoundingly beautiful works of art. It's easy to forget that they are carved from ice. They look like crystal clear glass. The detail work is off the charts, and the use of light just makes the experience more enchanting. Just like the Tibetan mandala, these works are not meant to last. They are meant to dazzle and inspire us just for a little while before they succumb to the rhythm of the seasons, as do most things in life.
We've come back in the daytime to see the youth classic. This is high schoolers doing their competition, which is really cool. What an awesome way to involve kids in the arts. So we're excited to see some of them working on their sculptures. It's cold.
Now, if you know us and you know the Art We There Yet project, you know that we are all about the arts and education. It is at the heart of what we do. So we are loving this. Many Alaska ice artists have developed programs to teach ice sculpture in local schools, and this event provides the space for students to showcase their acquired skills on the public stage. The Youth Classic is well organized, pairing student teams with an experienced ice artist who provides guidance and mans the chainsaw. The event coincides with spring break, is free to enter, and is open to students from across Alaska, across the USA, and across the world. But it's not all competition and serious art making at the World Ice Art Festival. Just like every single Alaskan festival we have experienced, there is also an element of playfulness and fun. And so, welcome to the game room. Here you can play your favorite games from ping pong to checkers, and there's only one little thing. Everything is made of ice. Now, if you were just spellbound by those man-made ice sculptures, just wait until you see what Mama Nature can do. We are off to the next stop on our Alaska winter road trip, and man, are there some moments in store. Moments of beauty, moments of hope, moments of amusement, moments of complete awe and fascination, and even some moments of drama. Join us for the next leg of our Alaskan winter road trip next time on Art We There Yet. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a like.
Subscribe to our channel.
Send us a comment below, and for exclusive content and a behind-the-scenes view of the Art We There Yet journey,
Join us on Patreon.
see you over on Patreon.